Talk about what's interesting.
What's interesting? I don't know. Anyhow, all right. So, good morning, all you beautiful people out there. We are almost out of the land of the lockdowns. We're cruising on our way, at least. So, anyways, it's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Tulsa, and so we thought we'd get out the Streetglides, the CVOs, and just go enjoy the weather, get a little wind therapy. So, you know, we're gonna talk about something. I'm sure it'll be interesting. Come with us. Let's go. Actually, totally on my side of the road there was the whole time. Yeah. Actually.
We can go to the right if you want to.
Yeah, I think that's what was planning to do, actually.
And take our little loop up on the highway when we get out there. Go through the city a little bit.
So, I remembered to use my hill holder brake. Smart, smart, smart. Ooh, and a decent right turn. Who knew? Gonna be a good day.
It's gonna be a good day, you know, by your first right turn.
So yeah, it's about 70-ish and sunny. It's a little windy, a little breezy, but you know, no complaints.
According to my bike, it's about 68-ish.
So, no real subject today. Just gonna take a ride, see what kind of conversation me and Mr. Nut have, and if it's interesting. But mostly just to take you on, you know, another one of our rides around town. So we're gonna head north here on Riverside up to downtown. And then we head out west towards Lake Keystone and a little town called Cleveland. And then we head north from there and kind of go up and around. It's a nice little jaunt. It's a little highway roads. It's a little mountainy country. It's, you know, it's a nice drive. We like it a lot.
It's actually a really good motorcycle type loop.
It is. We'll see quite a few bikes, I'm guessing. And it's one of those where in the heat of the summer and the bugs of the summer.
You don't want to do this in the evening this time of year.
No, because you will eat bugs like nobody's business, let me just tell you.
Yeah, we took this ride one time and we had to stop in the middle and wipe down our helmets.
Helmets, because you could not see.
It's that kind of road, yeah. Or it's that kind of territory, I guess. It's very rural. But it's a nice ride.
It is. These spring flowers are beautiful.
So, Tulsa today is kind of like starting their stage one of their
rollback, I think they call it.
The lockdown. I know a lot of people are calling it quarantine, but I'm not sick, so I don't feel quarantined.
Exactly.
I feel like I've been kind of like my movement has been prohibited to a certain degree. Although, other than a lot of businesses not being open, there haven't been that many real big restrictions here. It seems the mayor of Tulsa wants to be a little bit more authoritarian than the governor of Oklahoma.
He kind of has been from the whole thing. He put a stay-at-home order in place before, or shelter in place, or a stay-at-home, whatever that you want to call it, order in effect before the governor actually came out. And the governor really only did it for people who were considered like vulnerable, immune compromised, or the vulnerable population of 65 and older, I think is what they kind of clarified it as. But Tulsa City and the mayor basically decided that it was for everybody. So
yeah, as we were kind of talking about, Oklahoma is starting phase 1, starting yesterday, of allowing businesses to reopen and taking certain precautions. I believe Tulsa is still waiting until May 1st.
yes. Yeah, they're not making any changes basically until midnight on the 30th, so basically May 1st, next Friday I think it is. And so I've seen lots of restaurants trying to kind of prepare you for what the new world looks like, which I'm not sure anybody really knows. So it should be interesting, to say the least, over the next few weeks, months, I don't know. See what our new reality looks like, what the new normal is.
Well, it seems spring has sprung, huh?
I'd say spring
We are green.
definitely sprung. It is very green here.
We've had some good rain this season. I think what Oklahoma considers normal, a little lower than last year, but what they consider to be normal. Man, the wild grass is green. The trees are green. One of the things I really love about this area.
Yes.
I was born and raised in the high desert of Los Angeles County in California, where everything's a much deeper tone of brown.
Yes. So much more brown. Pretty in its own whatever. People love desert landscape. However, growing up there, I find the green to be so much more refreshing. So this is Keystone Lake. It's a pretty lake up here. It's got a dam that Keystone Dam basically dams the river, the Arkansas River, which runs all the way down through Muskogee and then all the way down and meets the Mississippi. So, and then runs to the Gulf. So it's a super pretty lake. It's kind of clay bottom, so it's not, at times it's not the greatest swimming lake. It's always nice for boating, but it's not the greatest to swim off the shore because it can get kind of gunky. Anybody who's ever been lake swimming knows the difference. We have a really pretty lake up in, that's north of here, northeastern Oklahoma, a little bit more, that's called 10 Killer. And it's a rock bottom lake. It's the most beautiful lake, I think, in Oklahoma, personally. We'll have to take a ride up there and take you guys with us. It's a pretty drive as well.
Yeah, that's in Cherokee County.
Mm-hmm.
That has always been, since my childhood coming back to Oklahoma, that's always been one of my favorite lakes.
I think one of the cool things about Oklahoma, since we've lived here, kind of realizing, and I know that there's similar options, I guess, kind of in other states, but growing up in California, where the only place to live on the lake was like Tahoe, basically, or to live on a beach, and it was it was for the rich people to do. Regular people did not live on a lake. Regular people did not live at the ocean. Where in states like Oklahoma, even I think Texas, that I know of, these are my personal experiences, almost anybody of any means can have a lake house. It's kind of I think that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, if you go up to like one of the most populated lake properties in Oklahoma, is up in north. It's called Grand Lake. Mm-hmm. It's actually Grand Lake of the Cherokees, and they have everything from small cabin communities to mobile home communities or modular home communities. Then they have some pretty good sized properties.
Oh yeah, beautiful multi-million-dollar places.
Properties, and
it's a really cool thing to see that you can find every level of housing at any income level. Basically, you can afford to live at the lake if your job permits it, kind of thing, or
right.
your lifestyle permits it. That to me is just a really cool thing, especially like I said, growing up in California, where if you didn't, you had to be pretty wealthy to live at the beach on water. It was not an average person kind of a thing.
Right.
So I love that about this area, because I'm such a water person. I think that this summer is going to be interesting as far as what kind of rallies end up taking place, what kind of rallies end up taking place. If people decide that it's not safe to, mass gather. I think at this point Sturgis is still a go in August. From what I've read last, I believe, I've still seen people renting places. I've seen a lot of people with cancellations for the prices that are normally full and booked already by this time of year. So I think that's one of the things to kind of watch for and see what there was supposed to be a big women's record-breaking ride, I think in Colorado this summer, I think in August. I don't know that I've heard whether it's going to go forward or not. So that'll be just, I think, something interesting to kind of watch for, is to see what rallies and what not take place as far as how people are feeling about their safety in that sense.
Yeah, it is. It's
bikers are a little bit rebellious, so I'll be interested to see.
I certainly hope that we still are. I've always felt that when, that's really the only way to counteract bad laws is to rebel against them.
Right.
And bring awareness to them. So right now we're headed north on Highway 99, which is basically a little rural highway that comes between
Cleveland and Hominy.
Cleveland and Hominy.
Yes. So yeah, back to bike rallies, and if people are going to get out this summer, we'd love to hear your comments and feedback on that. Or do you plan to go to any rallies that are still going on? Who's planning to still go into Sturgis or Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues? I don't think I've heard that it's canceled at this point yet.
I haven't heard that much about it at all.
So no, and I follow their Facebook page. I think they kind of, start to get updating probably as summer starts, maybe closer to June.
Kind of hoping in mid-May we can make a trip up to Pig Trail Harley Davidson and we'll ask Ben.
Yes.
See if we can get any news from those guys, since that's a huge rally for them.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback and what you guys are all thinking and feeling, experiencing where you're at in the different states, your different local rallies and things.
Now headed east on Highway 20 from Hominy to Skiatook. Skiatook is a gorgeous little lake town. I actually think it's one of the most conveniently located towns in the north for still having some really nice, beautiful rural properties.
Yes. Oof, don't like that part, sorry. There's a shitty part of the road. Yeah, Skiatook's a cute little town. Last spring, when we had some crazy weather here in Oklahoma, Skiatook had some severe flooding. They've got some creeks that everything from the north runs down, and besides their own rain, it was significant flooding. I think the lake levels at almost all the lakes throughout the state are still all pretty high from last year and this year already.
We're going to come out of this thing in a completely different economy.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here in Tulsa, man.
It is, especially because not only is it this whole nobody's worked for 6 weeks and whatnot, but the oil, Tulsa is still a pretty big oil city, and Oklahoma is an oil state, and Texas, which we're kind of attached to in a sense as well. And the oil market is just in the toilet.
One of the things we're seeing, it's kind of funny that to open up a lot of things to do with this, they actually dropped a lot of regulation in order to get rid of the red tape, and makes you wonder why that red tape is there in the first place.
Yep.
The best thing to do is to drop it.
Yeah, but, to get shit accomplished.
Wyoming did a really cool thing. They're allowing their ranchers and their cattle ranchers to sell cuts of meat to the general public. So that's like a big, to me that's a huge thing for, prohibition on food and the free market supply and economy on food. And I was really happy to see that. I think that's a big move, and I think that needs to be done everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, so we also have a lot of farmers here in Oklahoma and ranchers and all those things. So I don't know. It'll be interesting what happens to our state in particular, and states that are similar in what they produce to ours. So party part of the lake. So we're continuing on the 20. We're about to head into Skiatook and jump on the 75 to head south back to Tulsa. We appreciate you spending your Saturday morning with us. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy. Like, subscribe, follow us on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Leave your comments and feedback. We love to hear from you. And peace.